Hey, you listen to Wrestling Roundup on FreeFM 89.0. As always, I'm Grady Hooker, and live on Skype we got Josh.
E.
We're going to start off with the No Mercy pay-per-view. Unannounced pre-show match, Elias defeating Apollo Crews. Just continuing the Elias versus Titus Brand feud.
Actually, it was announced, but it wasn't announced until Friday night.
I counted as not announced when we did our preview, essentially. We have not previously talked about this match. But again, heel picking up the win.
Yeah, they've definitely built Elias pretty well. I like that his shirt has all the dates for Raw for the next 2 months in them.
It's always the small things, right? Like, a detail like that takes a person to notice and be like, yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, it has all the dates between SummerSlam and Survivor Series.
Interesting choice. Makes sense.
Just doesn't have the pay-per-views, just the Raws.
Yeah. Who knows? But Elias obviously defeating Apollo Crews here, also getting into a bit of a fisticuffs with Titus O'Neil, so I gotta imagine the Titus Brand versus Elias is not over just yet.
Yeah, because they did a rematch on Raw and continued it.
We'll see how long it's going to go. Obviously, as you said, we've built up Elias pretty well already. I think it is time for Elias to move on, find something else, and try to branch out, but we've got to finish what we started before we move on to the next thing. As much as we're ever evolving, it's great to put a little cap on the end of a feud, but I definitely see Elias moving on to bigger and better things. Hitting the main show now, first match, Intercontinental Championship, The Miz successfully retaining against Jason Jordan.
3-on-1. It was a good match. I'm kind of glad that they didn't give the title to Jason Jordan yet.
Yeah, I can definitely see why. I think there's definite merit in waiting a little while. It's a little confusing also, I guess, after the main event, or the secondary main event. We'll talk a little bit more about it as well, but I don't know what the Miz's direction heading forward is. Jason Jordan spent Raw tagging with Matt Hardy, because Jeff needs some surgery and is going to be leaving for a little while. I gotta imagine that's not going to be a permanent fixture.
Yeah, I don't really know. It's just, I think I can't really say anything because we can't talk about it yet.
Just certain feud options that are on the horizon and potential shots with the Miz that don't involve Jason, but again, because of the huge storyline push with the whole Kurt Angle thing, I gotta cross my fingers and hope that we haven't given up on Jason Jordan just yet.
I was just hoping for something other than the generic babyface promo after the match that we got from Jason Jordan.
No. Don't expect anything more than generic with Jason, okay? We're lucky we're getting what we're getting.
I was just hoping it would be something like he got just snapped. Just something different than the generic promo we ended up getting.
Yeah, I don't know how much I can chalk up to natural personality and charisma and how much I can chalk up to the writing here. But we're sticking relatively vanilla with whatever we're doing with Jason Jordan. And whether that's a sign of we don't trust fully behind Jason Jordan to go be the next big thing, or whether that's a case of they just want to take it nice and slowly, dip their toes in the water a little bit before diving in, sort of thing. But if we move on, next match, Finn Balor defeating Bray Wyatt. Doesn't need the face paint to take out Bray. Who'da thunk it?
Raise his hand.
Literally everybody. It's Bray Wyatt and it's a pay-per-view.
I'll give him props for at least trying to do a different story with them having Bray attack him before the match and hurt him, so that at least was something different than the original match at SummerSlam.
Yeah. I guess it was just trying to capitalize on that whole man versus man type stipulation where he is mortal, even though I'm not entirely sure of the storyline powers behind the demon, on whether he is immortal or not. Let's say that the human Finn Balor is vulnerable, and he preyed on that obviously with the physical attack before the match, and it was. If we had to compare the two matches, I'd say this one is a lot more physical, a little less flashy, but it was just another Finn Balor Bray Wyatt match for the most part between the bells.
Yeah, and then we got Goldust versus Finn Balor on Raw after Goldust attacked him backstage.
One more run. Are we gonna get it? Do we reignite our hopes?
No. Just give him a Hall of Fame spot and let him be a producer backstage.
No. God damn it. We had so close to getting that Goldust run, and then nothing. But yeah, obviously Finn Balor. I think Raw at the moment has a hell of a lot of built-up, super strong stars at the moment. It almost appears as though there's a massive divide in their roster of the haves and the have-nots. There's the ones who are super built up.
There's haves, have-nots, and then Kurt Hawkins.
I was going to get to him later, but yeah, pretty much.
And they're showing when he loses on house shows too.
I feel like they've made a thing out of it now, right? Like,
yeah, they definitely made a thing out of his losing streak. He'll eventually win. It'll probably end up being against somebody we won't expect, but it won't amount to anything.
No,
because
he'll beat Brock Lesnar.
That's a victory if he lasts more than 10 seconds.
Yep. I would love it if Kurt Hawkins beat Brock Lesnar. For the championship, of course. Just because it makes zero sense. It would be great.
All becoming WWE champion made more sense at the time than Kurt Hawkins becoming Universal Champion.
Raw Tag Team Championships, Dean Ambrose, Seth Rollins, they retain them against Cesaro and Sheamus, and Cesaro's mouth walks away a little bit lighter.
Did actually knock any teeth out and pushed them in.
In, out, it hurt a hell of a lot.
Yeah, a lot of blood too. But yeah, it pushed them in about 4 or 5 millimeters, which was a significant amount. It was a great tag team match. And definite props for Cesaro for how hard he had to work on that one.
Yeah.
I'm hoping that now that they're done with that, once Cesaro gets his dental work, they'll give him a singles push as a reward for it.
Good luck with that. You just said Cesaro and singles push in the same sentence. You could be here waiting for a few more years.
Yeah, I guess Sami Zayn might end up with a singles push before him.
Yep. If we're looking purely at the championships here, where to next?
Well,
Revival's out, Hardy's out, Cesaro and Sheamus is out. You kind of got one option.
Oh, I don't know. I've heard Club are going to might be doing something on that Starcade show that they're going to do.
I still, with all the things being announced for the Starcade show, I can't imagine why it's not a WWE Network special. Because they're taking on the Rock and Roll Express.
Yeah. At least that's the rumor.
I thought it was announced. I'll go check. But even without that, right, like, there's 2 cage matches on there.
Yeah. Well, I think the only reason it's not is because it's really just a petty way of undercutting a Legends show that's going on in Greensboro at the same time.
It looks as though WWE put up an article about them calling them out, which I'm assuming when the WWE.com generally accepts it, probably going to be a thing.
Yeah. Yeah, it depends on what the article is, though. I mean, we didn't get any outlandish title designs for the titles or any of the old ones back.
Well, if it does happen, maybe we see Chad Too Bad and Tex Ferguson. You might as well have them out there, right? Like, they're going up against the Rock and Roll Express. It's going to be a comedy match more than nothing.
Yeah.
But assuming that's a one-off, though.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess Club might be the only option right now in the tag team division at least for the titles. I don't know. Maybe we actually go through with the repackaging of the Ascension and switch brands with them.
There's definitely that option, but, before they do that, they're an integral part on figuring out who attacked Breezango. I need to know.
Well, good news. It'll be back next week.
That's too long. I need to know now.
And it'll probably just lead to be continued to the pay-per-view next Sunday, and then it'll be continued for another 5 years.
Yep. They'll just say, we'll see you again in another 25 years, and everybody will cry a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Fatal 5-way match, Raw Women's Championship. Emma didn't take the fall. That's a celebration.
Yeah, shockingly, Bayley did.
It wasn't Emma, that's all that matters. Full stop. I think Bayley taking the fall, yeah, it definitely is. It's a shocking prospect. I don't know what it means going forward. Still potentially the Sasha Bayley bit, whether they're going to go without the title, which is always a possibility because Asuka on the horizon, she's coming in at TLC. Have to assume she's being, rocketed right up into the title picture.
Actually, I think it would make more sense not to have her face the champion right away. But what do I know? I don't run a multi-million-dollar company.
Fair enough. At least for the time being, it looks like Alexa Bliss is going to be a little preoccupied with Mickie James.
Yeah, it'd probably be Alexa versus Mickie. Alexa will retain, and then Asuka will come out and kick her butt, and that'll be her debut.
Or her head.
Because the debut never said anything about her actually wrestling.
Yeah. I think if she isn't booked for TLC, then she's going to be interfering in the end of that match. As simple as that. Again, I don't know what that means for Emma. I don't know what that means for Nia. There's a lot of question marks floating about. But we'll wait and see.
Yeah, once they announced Asuka's debut date, I was like, crap, Alexa's retaining.
Mm-hmm. We're going to skip over this match and we're going to go straight to the Cruiserweight Championship match. We got a new champion, Enzo Amore, defeating Neville.
Neville did everything he could. It's honestly time for him to come back to the land of the heavyweights.
Yeah, I could see it. I don't know directly what's going to happen. We are definitely getting more crossover, so I guess it's not like a one-way street. He did go from the heavyweights to the cruiserweights. So I'm sure he just ticks a box and is magically back into the heavyweight division. I don't know. All I know is that it's really fun to see Enzo Amore get his butt kicked by all of the cruiserweights and Braun Strowman.
Too bad that wasn't a televised segment. That would have been awesome. But that was just to send people home happy.
Went on YouTube. I got to watch it. I was happy from home.
Yeah. It is what it is. It's clearly that they're capitalizing on his popularity, but it's clear they're letting him know he's still in trouble.
Mm-hmm. You may hold a championship, but you're still not in their good books just yet.
Yeah.
Okay, first of the two biggins, Roman Reigns, John Cena. Are we going to see John Cena for a little while?
No, because he's got to go film Bumblebee.
You still say that, and every time I forget that that's a Transformers thing. It's John Cena, I feel like, is now at the tail end of his career in terms of wrestling.
Yes, he is.
And this definitely seemed like a sign-off.
Yeah, it was definitely a passing of the torch moment.
How many torches has Roman had passed to him at this point? Roman's carrying them all.
It's definitely the biggest one.
Yeah.
It's definitely an interesting situation. It was a great match between them. We'll have to see where they're going, but it looks like Roman's going to be dealing with the Miz in the Miz Garage, which may end up reforming the Shield. Although I would rather have somebody more daunting for the Shield reunion.
No. The terrifying combination of Curtis Axel and Bo Dallas is what brings it out of them. Pulls them back together.
No, I actually would rather have the Miz team up with Braun and Samoa Joe and have them be the force that brings the Shield back together.
No, it's Bo Dallas and Curtis Axel. You don't get to pick the cool stuff, okay?
I know, but
you get what's given to you and you will like it.
It's kind of pointless though, because for the most part, Roman Reigns took care of all three of them by himself, almost.
Shh! You're meant to forget that.
and the three of them lost to Seth Rollins and Dean Ambrose when they first reformed their team.
La la la, can't hear you. Nope.
As a 2-on-3 match. So
what you
why
see,
would they need all three of the members of the Shield to take down the Miztourage?
They've loaded up WWE 2K18. They bought the DLC, so they got the accelerator. They've gone in. They've turned up all the settings on Curtis Axel and Bo Dallas and just cranked them all to 99, and all of a sudden they're going to be formidable opponents for the Shield. That's how I like to explain random power surges from certain wrestlers storyline-wise.
Well, there was definitely the big thing was the end of the segment after Roman beat Miz was the Shield
pose or gesture.
Oh yeah, pose.
It's a definite hint. I think we're heading that direction.
Yeah. Well, let's see if it works.
We'll wait and see. Universal Championship, Brock Lesnar, Braun Strowman. Brock Lesnar wins, match length about 9 minutes. Braun Strowman dominates for about 8 minutes of that.
We had six suplexes and 2 F5s. But in that, it was all Braun.
It was a fine match.
Yeah.
It was a Brock Lesnar, Braun Strowman match. If people were expecting some technical wrestling flippy stuff match, then they were insane.
Yeah, it was a great match though. I'm not surprised Brock retained.
Oh no, it was always wishful thinking on my part when I said Braun was going to win.
Yeah. I think it's pretty clear that Brock's holding the title to WrestleMania unless he gets hurt. That's the only way he's not going to be holding it to WrestleMania.
When you wrestle 9 minutes every 3 months, it's kind of hard to get hurt. Until you go up against Braun Strowman and actually have offense pulled off against you.
Still, the freakiest thing ever is Braun taking a German and standing right back up the moment he takes it. That is just freaky.
It seems like we say this a lot about Brock Lesnar's opponents, but Braun looked strong in defeat. He's still coming out of this, toe to toe with Brock Lesnar. Brock Lesnar is just an unbeatable force at this point. You can't beat him until someone does, but you can't beat him.
Well, I think there's only one person that can,
and that man is Goldberg.
No.
Oh, we're not bringing him back for another run?
Did beat him. No. He was slain at WrestleMania. The one man that can beat him
Kurt Angle
had a match with him, but there was no conclusion to the match.
I'm gonna have to hazard a guess that it might be a certain Mr. Reigns.
Yes.
It was an easy guess. Brock Lesnar Roman Reigns is gonna be WrestleMania. What number are we at? 34 main event.
Yep.
Signed, sealed, delivered, done. It's been that way for a little while. Sometimes I just get hopeful we're gonna deviate a little bit.
At least I'm 99% sure that SmackDown will win the Royal Rumble.
Yep. Which is interesting. But, that's all we got time for No Mercy. We better get into playing The Miz's song, or we're going to run out of show. So, this is The Miz's I Came to Play.
I came to play. There's a price to pay. Time for you to get down on your knees.
And you're back with Wrestling Roundup. FreeFM 89.0, Grady and Josh. We're on SmackDown now. Just a note before we get onto the content of SmackDown. A certain SmackDown superstar is pregnant. They're just copying The Miz and Maurice again, aren't they?
Seems to be.
Been signed with the WWE for 8 weeks, pregnant for 6 of those.
Yeah. And there was also a parody that went along with it too. It's like became a running gag. Every day it was like somebody was announcing they were pregnant.
Yeah. Who knows?
The most recent one was James Ellsworth and Carmella. Parodying it.
Good luck to them. We'll see how it goes. In terms of James and Carmella, even better luck to James surviving. Big cast when he comes back. We'll see. SmackDown itself, though, Sami Zayn, Kevin Owens, we're getting it again.
Yeah. hopefully we won't see Sammy for a few weeks, so after what happened to him in the main event. But, yeah, we got another Kevin Owens, Sami Zayn match.
It is just, like, over and over and over again. It was already over and over and over again before WWE even, like, signed on to it. And now it's still over and over and over again. We thought it was great when they got split up and then Kevin decides to come on over and let's just kill it off already, please. I've had enough of Sami Zayn, Kevin Owens. I had enough last time. We'd better not be building to a long-term feud between those two again. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, I'm personally just hoping that they maybe change things up and, do, tag team.
Maybe. Talking about changing things up, Dolph Ziggler, still being Dolph Ziggler, ignoring him. Stupid background stuff. Bobby Roode versus Dolph Ziggler.
Dolph Ziggler ruined my night.
Yep. I can say that most times I watch SmackDown, but this one particularly.
I was in a good mood, and then he comes out as The Undertaker, and I'm like, my night's ruined.
Is it because Undertaker is one that it potentially could have been?
It's just because The Undertaker's special.
Okay, don't mess with him.
Yeah.
So, odds at the pay-per-view that Bobby Roode's music plays and Dolph Ziggler comes out?
That would not surprise me one bit.
100% predicting that right now. That's how that match is going to happen.
That wouldn't surprise me one bit. It also wouldn't surprise me if he came out to Shinsuke Nakamura's theme, dressed up as Shinsuke. Even if it doesn't make sense that Shinsuke's in the main event, it still wouldn't surprise me.
Yep. Randy Orton and Rusev still going. We've gone back and forth 10-second losses. We're gonna have a proper match between the two.
I assume so. But how about the position that Aiden English is in now? He continues to get elevated.
Up and up and up and up. And I guess that's where it's easier to cross the divide, like we were talking back on Raw with the have and the have-nots. Aiden English, like, a month ago was a have-not. Click your fingers. Dude's up there.
And then he beat Sami Zayn on a pre-show.
He's doing good for himself. Baron Corbin, AJ Styles is the official match at Hell in a Cell. No Ty Dillinger just yet. Will he be added?
No.
Think it's going to be a straight-up 1v1?
Yes.
With Baron Corbin winning?
No.
Damn it. You're meant to just keep saying yes.
I'm not Daniel Bryan, damn it.
Why is Baron Corbin not winning title? Please give title.
Because they don't want to, because he's, apparently because he's involved in, some sort of lawsuit thing. Concussion lawsuit.
It's class action, it's fine. Give him the title. True American hero fighting against concussions.
Yeah, but you know how WB is. They can be very, very petty about the very, very pettiest of...
The last point I got here on SmackDown, the New Day versus the Usos. It's gonna be in the Cell.
I thought it was already announced. I don't know why they were announcing it. I thought it was already announced it was in the Cell.
I think it was heavily assumed that it was time to shove those men in a cell.
But, yeah, should be interesting. We've never seen a tag team match in the Hell in a Cell match before, so that should be interesting.
I do wonder if all three of the New Day will be in the Cell, or if we will have just the two competing members. But overall, definitely excited to see, tag team, Cell. What can go wrong, right? Surely it'll go perfectly fine and be an absolutely amazing match. If it's anything to go by the matches that these two teams have already had, this one's going to be a good one. Rightio, well, that's all we got time for. It's been great talking to you.
Maybe.
You can visit our Facebook page, facebook.com/wrestling, right at radio, or Twitter page, twitter.com/wrestling, radio. See you next week.